Hey, it's Joseph here. Today I have a privilege of showing you this product over here, if my camera will focus. And it is a product from Cooler Master, as you can see, and it is Master Case EG200. And it is essentially a external GPU, or eGPU for short. And I have been somewhat of an advocate for such device, and I'll explain why in a later of the video. But I also have the privilege of including this graphics card inside of this box. GeForce RTX 3070 Ti from NVIDIA. And if you know the market a little bit, any of the graphics card is really hard to get these days. And even if you're willing to pay a good amount of money, you just can't source them. Well, I did pay for this graphics card, and I was lucky enough to at least be able to buy it. And by the way, Cooler Master has sent me this unit for this type of video showcase purposes. So whilst I did not pay for this external GPU unit, I did pay for this graphics card, and I just wanted to get that out of the way. Okay, so let's go ahead and unbox the eGPU first, so I can kind of show you what to expect, and we'll get the graphics card installed. And going around the box, you'll be able to see some of the specs and the features of this unit over here. However, it is probably going to be somewhat blurry, so I'll just kind of read that off to you as well as kind of show it on the screen. But the overall dimension is about 15 inch by 5 inch and 8 inch. The material is steel mesh ABS plastic, and it does include 3 USB type A ports that are 3.2 Gen 1, and then it does connect through Thunderbolt, and it is compatible with both PC and Mac. And then also the max size graphics card it is able to take is 325 millimeters in length and then 54 mil in width. It is about 2.5 slot card, and then 141 mil for the depth. And the power supply is included, and it is 550 watt unit, and it does include the cables already connected. And the overall color is black, and the side panel is made out of steel. And it does have pre-installed fan along with 3.5 inch bay and then solid state drive bay. Cool stuff. And let's kind of go around to the back. Over here, there is a picture of what the device is when it is all sort of opened up, the exploded diagram, and a brief description of what this unit is. Okay, I think that is it in terms of the overall packaging and the box, so let's get it cracked open. Okay, and here is the enclosure. We need to somehow get this out. It's pretty snug in there. Maybe if you were to flip it, I don't want to drop it either. Okay, that worked. And here is a brief manual if you would like to see some diagrams and what it is supposed to do. But hopefully we'll be able to do this without it. But I'll consult it occasionally as I need to. And here is the enclosure. So here is the front. It is pretty small, and it's got this Cooler Master minimalistic type of logo on the front. It kind of shows the resemblance to the NR200 if you know what that ITX case is like. I did showcase that on my channel before, so you might be able to search that up. But this is a side panel on one side, so effectively the left side panel, and then this is the back. So you can see where the power supply connects to, along with the slot for the graphics card, and then USB type A ports, 3 of them, along with the port to connect the Thunderbolt, and then power switch and some thumb screws to open it up. And then going to the other side, which is the right side, and here is a slight different looking side panel, and I'll kind of explain why later on. But I understand here is a little bracket for you to slot a laptop if you would like to, and I presume you can kind of adjust it somehow through the bottom. We'll figure that one out as we go, but my guess is to unscrew some of these so that we can move this out a little bit so you can just slot in the laptop. And that is a very considerate thing that they did, because I'm gonna pair this unit up with my Dell XPS 13-inch 2-in-1 device, which is my daily carry, and then just basically put them in for eGPU connection. And I think that sort of setup makes a lot of sense because you don't want to be carrying around a heavy laptop all the time, and a lot of tasks that we do in the AC environment kind of depends on your graphics card performances. So when you get home or to your office, then you can enjoy the performance that your eGPU is able to put out in conjunction with any of the graphics card it is paired up with. So I think it makes a lot of sense, and I really appreciate the fact that this is kind of minimalistic design. It is not flashy in any ways. It's just black with some angular patterns and such. So yeah, let's have this open somehow. Okay, I'm just gonna simply undo some of these thumb screws to see how I can get this thing open. Yeah, just undo the side panels and then you just kind of slide it back and then it just kind of drops. Okay, that's simple enough, and it does have this mesh. And then on inside here, as you can see, master case EG200 accessories. And in here is the power cable, which is actually for Asia, not one for US. So I'm gonna have to find a power cable that works with it. And then here are some other cables. So I presume that this is for connecting to your computer. And here it has a USB type B, I think is a name for this. It's what you see on your external hard drive. And I guess you connect that to uplink the USBs. And then here is USB type A to type C adapter if you want to pair it up with this. And then here is a Thunderbolt cable, pretty short one. And you want to make sure you use short ones with the maximum bandwidth for any of these connections, because the overall performance will depend on the cable that you use. And it says 3 on it. I'm assuming that means that it is Thunderbolt 3. And here are some cable ties if you would like to use them. And here are 2 screws. Maybe that is for the hard drives or solid state drive that you connect. Oh, and there's a graphics for what's contained in the box. And then, do I need to get rid of these black foam, or it's probably in there to keep things organized during shipping, so you can probably get that out. And just making sure all other cables are intact. And here is the daughter board for the IOs, and then here is the main board, or the base board is what they're calling it, for the PCIe connection where your graphics card will connect to. And then you can see the SFX power supply. I really appreciate the fact that they are going with standard SFX power supply by the look of it. So if you want to go more than 550 watt because your graphics card requires more power, then possibly you can upgrade this to a bigger power supply. Yeah, and you can kind of see there are rubber feet under the device to make sure that things don't really slide around. And I suppose I needed to unscrew some of these so that I can slide this side out. So yeah, there you go. I was able to just push this out as much as I need. If you're using a very thick laptop, then it does go up to yay much. I should do a better job than yay much. I think you can go up to maybe 1.5 inch and maybe 1.75 if you really push it. But my laptop is not as thick, so let's just kind of keep it right here. And on this side, you can see the rubber pad both on the top of the side panel as well as the inside of the side bracket and at the bottom to cover your laptop as it slides into this slot over here. And if we were to undo these thumb screws, you can just slide this out and lift it to get rid of this panel. And you can see that it is 550 watt power supply, 80 plus gold. The model name is MPY551SF FHAGV. And here I can see the thermal sensor that's been connected to the motherboard, as well as this cable over here that is for fan control for the fan that is above here. And I also see another fan header in case you want to attach another fan next to the already mounted 90mm fan that's included with this case. So you can add another fan here, just undo this portion and then slide this fan over and then connect another one and then connect to the header. So that's gonna be pretty easy if you wish to do that to deal with more heat, but I'm gonna have to roll with the current setup of just a 190mm fan. Other than that, I'm just making sure all the cables are snug and fit, and put the side panel back up. It seems like if I were to undo that one, it will just kind of slide around. So you can either just thumb screw this so that you can later loosen it depending on the width that you need. Maybe I'll put the laptop in like so, and then make sure it is somewhat snug in there, and then just tighten the thumb screw. Yeah, I can just slide this out or slide that in. And I believe the front plate does come off too. Okay, it's nicely hinged as well. I feel the magnet up here, so it just kind of snaps in. Very nicely made. And also I can see the hard drive bay in there. You can either mount the 3.5 or 2.5 hard drives. There's a slot that you can put it into, so you can unscrew these, and then there are screws that you can put them into your drive, and basically these kind of slot into these bays so that it just snaps and secures itself. Other than that, you can just put them in here so that you keep them secured and not lost in case you need them later on. So there are 2 screws that are positioned in there, and here you can kind of see the back of it, and then 3 USB 3.0 type A ports, and then the Thunderbolt port. And I think you need to undo these to get into the graphics card. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll open this up further to mount the graphics card. So let's open up the top plate. And before we do that, I need to get rid of the fan header so I can actually open it all the way. So the fan header is out, and then just open up the top plate. Okay, now we have a clear look in here. Here's the extension cable for the power supply, and in order to mount the graphics card, we may need to get rid of this corner bracket. I really like the fact that the entire chassis is modular. Okay, so now this enclosure is ready to receive graphics card. So let's do this grand reveal of this graphics card. I've been waiting this for a very long time. It is even dusty, sitting there for such a long time unused. It is almost sin to not use it. But here it is. Yeah, RTX 3070 Ti. It is gonna be more powerful than my current card, so I'm all excited for this. Undo the rubber thing. Yeah, just to kind of show you what's on this graphics card is nice looking shape. I really favor their latest design on 30 series cards, and there's a fan on this side and that fan on here, and then here is a PCIe cable that you're gonna have to connect to. In the bottom of it, you can see 3 DisplayPort ports and then 1 HDMI, and then it is, I think, 2 slot card in this Founders Edition. I thought this was plastic, but this is all metal. Great for cooling purposes. And let's just get through the rest of the box, why not? And it's got some paperwork if you want to go through those fine prints. This is a support guide, and this is quick start guide. How can this be a quick start if you have it this much of text written here? I mean, yeah, it is in multiple languages, but still, it doesn't look like quick start guide. Anyways. Oh yes, the PCIe cable. I do need this. So there's something very particular about Founders Edition of RTX 30 series card is that the PCIe cable is something unique as opposed to the regular PCIe cable. So you're gonna need that, and I'm just gonna cover this up and put it back in. And when I'm handling this, I'm making sure I'm not touching these blades because they are fragile in the sense that you can bend them quite easily. So that's connected, and I just need to connect the PCIe cables off of the eGPU and actually undo the PCIe cables that are positioned back here so that I can actually connect to the graphics card. Keep that out until I get the graphics card situated. Line them up correctly just so you can kind of see better. Let me move that up. change the exposure a little bit so you can see better. Not important, the graphics card is. Okay, that's been pushed in, and now I gotta get those 2 screws. Yep, these 2 screws. No need to over tighten it. Okay, I just gotta connect these PCIe cables. So 2 8-pin connectors need to be connected. So total of 16, and then that gets routed like so. Yeah, that's what it looks like all in there. Nice looking compact case, but also it is able to take in pretty thick card too. You can kind of see how that one fits in there. So even if you had much longer card, or I would say even ½ inch thicker than this card, it will still go in. Good amount of clearance. I'm just making sure all other cables are clear of any other fans in there because it could interfere with it. Only my concern is that there is a fan right there and it is overlapping with the power supply. So it is going to share in terms of the air. And then I gotta put this top plate back in and also make sure the cable is connected. Yep, so the fan headers are here and that's been now connected. There is an extra one if you want to use it. But what I was talking about is you can kind of see it there, but the fan is kind of overlapping with the power supply. So it's going to share the airflow, and I don't know if that is going to be adequate, but it's going to have to do. So if you had other cards that actually blows air in, the 2-fan design that blows air into the space rather than shared or exchanged like the Founders Edition, it probably would have worked better. Actually, I forgot about the corner bracket for the chassis, so let me just pull this out. Top panel on with the cable dropped. Gotta connect the fan header, slide that in, tighten the thumb screws. Okay, and then I gotta make sure this is also put back in for the PCIe bracket. And that can be thumb tightened if you want. Okay, finally we just need to close the side panel and lock in place. Alright, now that is ready. Okay, all I need to do is find the power cable and then connect to my laptop and see how it operates. Okay, so here is a US power cable. Okay, so on the back that is the power port. Just connect that in there. And then the Thunderbolt cable bottom here, that is now connected. I gotta connect it with my laptop. And as soon as I flip the switch, this should power on. And as I do that, I do hear the fan going on. And I do see a slight LED that's shown here, which is lighting up as blue. Okay, so the laptop is on, and then just connect USB Type-C. As soon as I connect, it got a message. And the fan actually lowered down as well. Setting up the device, it says device is ready. Audio device is ready. I'm just testing this on live, so I'm not sure what's working and what's not. So let's go ahead and go to Device Manager. So I'm just trying to get the driver to work. I can also confirm that this device is being charged. So this single Thunderbolt port that's been connected to this laptop is definitely being powered by this unit here that is pushing power. So I'm just trying to get this driver to be installed. Okay, so still going through the install. Okay, so the driver install has been finished. I just installed the game ready driver. However, the studio driver should work as well. But here I can see in the device manager that it is already listed as GeForce RTX 3070 Ti, which is accurate. So let's go ahead and restart now. Okay, so it actually had a hard time restarting with the external GPU connected, so I disconnected it and it just rebooted just fine. So I'm just gonna reconnect it, and it's done refreshing. Now it is all enabled and I can see that, and also it showed up on the task manager that is on the left of it. And now I can go to perhaps the Task Manager. Okay, so GPU 2 has now been detected, and it is NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3070 Ti with 8 GB of VRAM, which is plenty for the task that I intend to do. Go ahead and open up like a sample file from Enscape. to see if that actually works. So this is just opening up a executable file that's been provided by Enscape. It is available on their sample website, and I'm just double clicking it. And in terms of the task, it is start to fill up some portion of that graphics card, so I can see that it is active and trying to load some of the assets that are coming from the Enscape side. So that's a good way to kind of check what is going on when it just says loading. And this is much heavier file, so it is gonna take some time to load. But once it loads up, it's gonna be a breeze just going through this. And all of these are just real time, which is impressive. Just the amount of detail that's within here. You can kind of see the reflection and everything is all there. Move around without any sort of stutter. And again, I'm doing screen recording and everything on this tiny thin laptop. Let's go inside. And the fan noise on external graphics card is not loud at all. I do hear the fan, and I can actually feel the heat that is rising over here. But actually I can hear the fan of the laptop a lot louder than external GPU. So this is all happy in there. Again, the desktop grade graphics card 3070 Ti should be able to handle these scenes without any problem. However, if you're introducing a lot more complex model or geometry or any sort of more graphically demanding tasks, then you want to be mindful of some of the downfall of using external GPU, because first, it is sending information out to eGPU and it's calculating it, and then it's sending it back so that you can actually see it on the screen. So in order to not have that much information go back and forth, you can actually connect the external monitors off of directly to the graphics card. So that's why you want to just clamp shut this one but still have the laptop on so that it does all the CPU related tasks on your laptop. However, all the graphic intensive tasks are handled by eGPU, and then also the display is connected via graphics card. So ideally you want to set it up that way if you're trying to use additional peripherals and the external monitors, as well as just enjoying a bit more performance than what you are able to utilize on the laptop itself. So with that said, I realized that if I were to connect anything to the USB ports here, because the information is actually not carried through this Thunderbolt port. And that's why you need the secondary cable that was included. And I have attached the USB type A to type C dongle here because my laptop doesn't accept any USB type A ports. So I connect that to the laptop itself and then turn this around and connect that. I can't see that. So as soon as I do that, then I can connect a USB dongle like this, which connects my mouse. Then I can just put that in there. And as soon as I do that, then I should be able to use this mouse. And you're kind of seeing that since I am moving around with my mouse. And that becomes a lot more fluid option. I am able to go through places a lot easier with a mouse, since trackpad is, or touchpad is, never a good experience in terms of making sure navigation is all smooth. Okay, so I hope that is clear. So if you were to use something like external graphics card, then you can expect 10% of performance less than what you would expect out of the desktop. Obviously, there's going to be some more variables, such as having the monitor shown on a laptop versus on an external monitor, but I think that kind of sets it up in terms of the external graphics card setup. And also just looking up the availability and pricing of this Cooler Master EG200, $420 off of Amazon. So it is quite expensive, and considering the fact that you're going to have to source your own graphics card on top of $420, yeah, it is gonna be a lot of money that you are gonna have to pay for. However, if you have sort of the niche case scenario where you do need a laptop to carry around until you arrive to a setup where you're needing to do a lot of graphical demanding type of tasks, then this makes a perfect setup, so that you can move around. I can even enjoy the touch screens and then have the horsepower of desktop grade graphics card that is gonna back up your thin and light portable laptop. And another scenario is the fact that you've got a good laptop that you are already working with. However, it is the graphics card that you are just missing out, just like how I am now. Then instead of investing on a completely new desktop setup that is going to cost you a lot more than $420, and the graphics card that you're going to have to find or pre-build that is going to set you a lot further than 420 plus the graphics card, then it kind of makes sense. And I think the marketing there is a bit more confusing for the consumers, because you have to understand the fact that 3070 Ti on your laptop is not going to match anywhere near the desktop grade of 3070 Ti due to the power limitation and the thermals, and it is just going to be much better to utilize eGPU if you just consider the performance alone, given that the portability of the graphics card is not an issue for you. So hopefully this video kind of explained you what kind of product this is, the EG200 from Cooler Master. It is definitely a cool product, and it does feature a lot of things that I would like in eGPU. Granted, it is not that cheap, however, it makes sense in some aspects. So if you have liked this content, please like and consider subscribing to my channel to continue watching these type of videos. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I'll see you next time. Bye.